First Lady Melania Trump is recovering after having successful surgery for a kidney condition the White House says is non-cancerous. The president visited her this morning. He says on Twitter, quote, "Our great First Lady is doing really well. We'll be leaving hospital in 2 or 3 days. Thank you for so much love and support." Joining us now is Editor-in-Chief of The Hill, Bob Cusack. Welcome back, Bob.
Hey, Lauren.
Amazing to me that this Melania story, that the news of her having an operation on Monday did not leak. How is that possible?
Amazing. I mean, it is the biggest surgery for a First Lady in decades. And I think that President Trump should take a lesson with his staff on Melania Trump, because you really don't have leaks, whether it's about her health or anything else. But with the president, we see leaks on a daily, if not hourly basis.
Let's talk about the one that is, in flames right now, which is the Kelly Sadler comment about John McCain that we just heard Jason Calvi talking about. GOP lawmakers are still furious that the White House is not apologizing for this joke. And he called yesterday, President Trump called the leakers cowards.
Right.
But nothing is happening. Why?
Well, this story is going into its second week. The Hill first reported this Thursday afternoon, and I thought it would be a big story. But the reason why it's continuing is because of the lack of apology. And Kelly Sadler called Meghan McCain and said, "I will publicly apologize."
To her father, right.
Right, and we have not seen that public apology, so that's why the story keeps going. But Republican senators today didn't mention it to Trump when he was up there. So that's why the story keeps going.
And it's a very easy rule of public relations. And you can contain stories by doing what is being asked of you over and over again by the public. True? Not
That's
true?
right. That's right. But President Trump doesn't like apologies. He rarely apologizes. So the question is, did anyone go to Kelly Sadler and say, "No, you're not going to publicly apologize"? We have not seen her appear publicly. That's just a matter of time, I imagine.
I would imagine nobody has a picture of her currently, and I'm sure that photographers are out there looking. Let's turn to Jerusalem. At the opening yesterday at the embassy, Pastor Robert Jeffress, who has said, he's a spiritual advisor to the president, and he has delivered the opening blessing, and he has drawn criticism for calling Islam and Mormonism a heresy from the pit of hell. And he says Jews can't be saved. Mitt Romney came out and said Jeffress shouldn't be giving the prayer because he was a religious bigot. Was this a misstep by the White House, or do people not care?
I think some people care, and certainly, I mean, this was a big deal. Remember, presidential candidates, Democrats and Republicans, have long promised this. A very controversial move. We saw with the violence. But it does distract from what happened yesterday, and certainly so does the violence. And that's what the White House has been very aggressive, saying, hey, listen, they're the ones who are doing the violence. They should take the blame, not us.
Right. I haven't heard a lot about Jeffress. And I did, and I would imagine if you didn't see the violence as much, you wouldn't realize exactly who did the opening prayer. It hasn't been wall-to-wall coverage like the protests have been. Do you think that the coverage has been fair? Palestinians, Israelis, and the nature of that conflict, that Israel believes that the Palestinians and Hamas and the terrorists are infringing upon their country, therefore they feel they have the right to fire?
Well, I think the pictures of the split screens were quite remarkable, whatever side you're on. I do think this is going to make it harder to have Mideast peace, and that's what Jared Kushner is tasked to do. But John Kerry couldn't get a deal. We haven't had a deal in forever. So Bill Clinton as well. Every president works on peace in the Middle East. So that was unlikely to happen anyway.
Bob Cusack, thank you so much for coming in, Editor-in-Chief of The Hill.
Thanks.